Hey everybody, welcome to Columbus, Ohio, Good Guys PPG Nationals. This is Tom Taylor, and we're here with the help of PPG. Go to PPG, oh no, not PPG. Go to vibrancecollection.com, check out some of the stuff they've got, and roddersjournal.com. One of the cars that's kind of created a little bit of a buzz and people have been waiting on for years has been Scott Sullivan's 54 Chevy Sedan. And I think Scott is here somewhere.
Hi, Tom.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm good. So, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Very well. Actually, really happy to be here.
Yeah, because there were some last minute...
Yeah, typical thrash, you know, where you're curious if you're going to make it or not.
Yeah.
And the final determination came Tuesday, I believe. It's as late as Tuesday. And it was wrong fuel filter between tank and fuel injectors. And it
A filter's a filter.
Well, how many microns? And let me ask you, just because I had this quiz with my buddies, 100 micron or 10 micron? Which is it? The finer one?
100.
Nope.
10. Wow.
And I guessed 100, and I had 100. And I ended up trashing my fuel system.
Really?
Because of it, yeah.
Fuel filter, fuel pump and everything?
It didn't hurt the fuel pump, but I mean, I actually had to drain the gas tank and flush all the lines and flush the rails and the return line and the regulator. And I ended up, just for safety's sake, buying new injectors.
Jeez.
And a new filter, but that seemed to do the trick.
Jeez.
And I drove up this morning absolutely trouble-free, and it's about 65 miles.
So you're about 65 miles from here?
Yeah.
All right, come here so we don't lose the sound.
Sure.
All right. So how many years in the making?
I'm embarrassed to say about 8.
8 years.
And I don't know, again, I'm not sure if you're aware, Tom, of the accident. This car was completely finished, and borrowed a race car trailer, a friend's race car trailer, to take it to upholstery. And
When was it finished?
2 years ago.
Okay.
And I was about 45 miles from my house, and I crashed the truck and trailer.
Really?
Totaled the truck and trailer, and the car, of course, had to break loose in the trailer, and completely smashed the passenger side. And then, because it was a drag racer trailer, everything known to man was screwed to the walls of the trailer.
Right.
And every bit of that attacked my car. It looked like somebody attacked
It all
with a shotgun.
It all bit the car. It all
Yeah.
came off and bit it.
Actually, here's a remnant right here. You see the little thing in the
Yeah.
stainless, and then right here is in the cowl. I never fixed that.
Well,
I
we don't
had to
show.
strip the car with razor blades. I stripped it back to primer,
Why'd you have to strip it with razor blades?
just because I didn't want to put that many paint jobs on top of each other.
You don't
know
want
what
the
I mean?
thickness, yeah.
Correct. And
What kind of paint is this?
It's R&M urethane, single stage, or not single stage. I'm sorry, base coat.
I thought it was PPG.
Nope.
Okay.
No, we talked about that. I talked about that with Herb.
Okay. So it's single stage.
No, as I said, it's base coat.
It's base coat, clear coat?
Yep.
Wow. So
Here we
then
go.
how long ago was that?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So you've had to...
Completely redo the exterior, the body, and then put it all back together and sent it to my friend Larry Sneed to upholster it, and he found out he had prostate cancer.
Oh boy.
So he ended up just having a bit of a health recovery deal where he had my car exactly 1 year.
Wow.
But that's why I wanted to do it, and I was
Sure.
willing to wait, and that's what I got.
So how come you didn't mold the dash and put 20s on it and what's
You know what? I'm going to answer that really easily. I'm old. No, and it's funny because you talk about...
why didn't you put an automatic in it and,
This is a hot rod, baby.
Ah.
620 horsepower of animal, and it had to be a manual transmission.
What's the transmission?
A T56.
T56?
That's actually a real one. Not like it matters, but it's a
And
Borg Warner.
And 9-inch rear.
Yep.
Okay.
4-link.
Can you close the door so we can? It's 4-link. Go ahead.
All four coilovers, 4 corners, 53 Oldsmobile door handles. It's just your typical situation. Unless you knew these cars, you'd never imagine how many things are done to it. I mean, just right here in the front end, the bumper's narrowed. The bumper is moved back so far that there's an 1.5 inches taken out right here.
Wow.
Turn signal lenses made that don't have mounting holes, and then they've been made a little larger, and then this ring was made a little bit smaller, and then I recessed them a 1/2 inch because I thought they were obnoxious when they were flush, and then added 2 teeth to the grill, where people with 54 Chevys will always add 4 teeth. They'll add teeth between the stock teeth for a total of 9, or if they're adventurous, they'll put 13 teeth in it.
Right.
And frankly, I think that's pretty cool for a custom.
Yeah.
But I was building a hot rod, and I thought that 5 weren't enough. I thought 7 would do well, but that means I had to rearrange everything to do that. And then to actually use bumper guards. Nobody uses bumper guards, but I used the stock ones and cut them down 2.5 inches. 409 valve covers act as coil pack covers, which really worked out well, where, as you can see, the spark plugs come out from underneath.
Yeah. So it almost looks like a 409.
Yeah.
So you're cool with the LS?
I am. It's the first one that I've had, and it's just a situation where I want to try it. And I'm not opposed to, I made a joke about being old. I'm not opposed to technology and fuel injection and all of that stuff. And I know this is the 3rd time that I've done a fuel injection car, and the 3rd time that I had nothing but hell. And frankly, couldn't do it on my own. But there are always stupid mistakes, that I had done. I was just telling some friends, chroming my fuel rails, the inside of the fuel rails had corroded, annihilated my fuel injectors. And I mean, I've had enough stuff chrome plated. I knew to tell them to plug them off, and they did, but they still, just from the acids, when they stripped the anodize, corroded the inside. So when I got the rails back, I cleaned where the injectors plug in, and I cleaned where these fittings go. But I did not even look inside the actual rail. And they were destroyed.
Wow.
And then one of the other things that was a whole lot of fun to do, honestly, was I made a lot of bracketry and stuff completely by hand that I've not done so much in the past. My throttle cable bracket here, it's a piece of motorcycle handlebar. And I cut it, and then carved the shape into it. And then, of course, closed off the end, drilled these holes in it. And then there's 2 1/4-inch pieces of stainless rod that go over to this 90-degree stainless bracket. And in the spirit of Little John Butera, cut away anything excess that I could. And then made these little standoffs out of 1/8-inch plate for the throttle cable. And then even this little cover here that just hides the ugly of the side of the throttle body.
Yeah.
And then, let me walk around the other side of it. So this bracket here, normally this is supposed to be 2 hose clamps and a rubber hose. And the thought of that disgusted me. So I decided that I was going to make this. I made it out of 1/8-inch plate. And as it came around here, it bent down, and I had 2 1032 screws holding it together. But that was ugly. So I figured out that I needed some type of latch. This is a suitcase latch.
Yeah, I see that.
All I did was Google stainless steel latch, and that's what came up. With the little springs on it, and that's cute as hell.
Yeah.
Works perfectly.
Yeah. So no leaks.
Nope. Works fine. And then I made a similar matching bracket for the power steering reservoir.
It's got that little. Oh yeah. Okay.
then one of the other things I joke about, the fin pieces on the firewall, the factory inspection cover.
Yeah.
And you can appreciate this. I always thought that was a cool shape. You know what I mean, in a stock firewall.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'm going to mimic that on both sides of the firewall. And then after I did it and made them operable, it's like they worked excellent as inspection covers. Those factory guys are no dummies. I'm not a fan of billet hinges.
Really?
No. So I just carved up my stock ones and drilled holes in them. And
Well, and I don't see hardly any billet on here, so.
no. Well, and if you do, it's sanded and
made
smoothed
up,
and
yeah.
painted, yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of the other things too, and I can't explain myself, but to weld the hood halves together and then still want to retain that bracket. I
Okay.
just thought it was a detail that I wanted to keep.
Yeah, you don't have to smooth everything off.
Right. Well, and that's definitely a lesson that I even, while building this, had kind of changed focus. For example, look at the fuel rail injector wiring. See this piece of tubing?
Yeah.
The wiring goes into it.
Yeah.
I thought I was so clever and it turned out so well and you can't notice it. And it was probably done about 3 months when it dawned on me it would have been cooler for that rail to be out here with these little standoffs. Came out and helped, you know, to show it rather than hide it.
Yeah, yeah.
But okay, now I realize for the next car.
What is the next car, by the way?
Well, presently, it's going to be my tin Woody.
Really?
Yeah.
2-door or 4-door?
Well, that's just it. A friend of mine years ago did a rendering of a 2-door. I mean, it was 30 years ago. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly still want to make it a 2-door. I really do. But I also want to build my 40 Ford.
Yeah. Sometimes it just comes down to time.
Correct.
Okay, why don't you, can you lower this and then we'll get get some overalls of it?
You okay with the other doors?
Yeah, it's fine.
Scott? Chris Holton?
Okay, but wait, I'm going to do it.
Go straight ahead. Over here.
Okay.
Long trip I took.
Yeah, no, I just told him everything. So I get some time with you later.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
What do you got?
Hey, Chris. So we're
Trying to think of anything else.
Where's the windshield wipers?
I don't believe in windshield wipers. Rain-X works too well, and they're ugly. I can't do it. I can't bring myself to put windshield wipers on anything. Isn't that funny? What's about that hand-fabricated steering wheel?
Yeah. Or
I
the
did-
wood,
I
the
did
wood
on-
grained, or the wood grained.
Seat
I don't know what you
pieces.
call those. Yeah, seat
I know.
pieces.
Yeah, because these are upholstered from the factory.
Right.
And it was interesting. Oh, bear jet. It was interesting that I got the idea to paint that stuff, and when I did, I thought that this was going to be so cool. I didn't realize that this was going to be in your face. You know what I mean? I knew the lower one, but I didn't think anything about the upper. Man, it is in your face.
Yeah.
And of course, I had to keep these. Do you know what these are called?
Poles.
I was going to say because I don't know.
What are they?
I don't know. There are some guys here running around that do know, but.
They're poles is all I know.
And then, you know, you talk about the car, where do you start with the dashboard? Everything was moved to the left about an inch or so that I could end up with an AC vent next to the glove box door. And then the other thing is normally.
So the dash and everything, or the instrument clusters normally.
Yeah, it's that way. It's just to the left, or to the right, just a bit. But the other thing is a 54 dash has those speaker grills all the way across, and that was too much for me. So I cut a bunch of stuff down, got rid of the ashtray, and then actually sectioned the glove box door 3/4 of an inch in height, so that I can make that stainless trim piece at the top that goes all the way across the dash.
Right.
And that's a 68 Camaro AC vent in the center. And I also was real adamant about using the stock heater controls. I wanted that stock look. And then actually to go and do stuff like, you know, making the clutch and brake pedals and drilling holes in them, common sense would tell you to make a shifter that matches. But sometimes I just think, no, that's too matchy-matchy. I don't want that. So I wanted that old 60s, you know, shifter look. And then here, I'm going to go around the other side for a second. The actual shift boot you were looking at in the ring, I wanted as small as I could possibly get. And so 64 Cobra or Shelby something had a 5-inch diameter rubber boot, and then of course a stamped steel ring. And I decided that I could cut that boot down even further in diameter. And then I had a friend of mine machine the ring. I basically just drew what I wanted and had him make it for me. And we drilled 4 holes in it, you know, to mount it into the carpet. And it was ugly. It was terrible. And so we were trying to figure out a way to have the boot retain into the floor. And one of my buddies just walked in the garage and he said, put 4 dowel pins in it and then put drywall mollies in a piece of aluminum and have it just pressed down into it. So it does. Oh, there you go. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, very cool.
Just
Very
like I
cool.
said, because one of my buddies just walks in the garage and goes, here's what you do. So for now I can't get him back in. There we go. So there's lots of little challenges like that, you know, that are so subtle nobody would ever know. I had the clock turned into a tack, and I wanted a shift light in the tack, and frankly, I would have liked it to have been a little more obnoxious than it is, but I wanted it to look like somebody just crammed it in there, you know?
Yeah. Very cool.
Ooh, here's a problem. Okay, never mind. I'll fix. But I mean, even the ignition switch is a stock. It's a American Auto Wire ignition switch with a cover, the stock 54 Chevy cover, to go over it. That's just, I did not want anything to look new, you know, or updated, or I wanted everything to be as old looking as I could make it.
Yeah.
You got everything open except what you're supposed to have open.
He's filming.
Very cool.
Thank you. I'm trying to think of,
So you're going to drive it?
what do you mean, home? I hope. I drove it here. Actually, are you going to go over and do the, when they got to go over and drive these, you're going to go and film that?
I don't know. When do you have to drive it?
I don't know, sometime this afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I think you guys drive it over to, I think it's at 2.
It could be.
You drive them over there.
The
so-
autocross section,
Yeah.
and then have to go through the course.
Yeah. All right. I'll come back and do it.
Cool. Yeah, it should be interesting.
Well, thank you very much. I know
Thank-
there's a million things we're missing, but
I know. Well, it's like I say, it's, you can talk about your stuff forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And I mean, even while we're sitting here, look at film that or the door hinges, all radius. And on a 54 Chevy, all of the door jamb area is a bunch of stamped steel that's spot welded together. I had to weld all the seats up. You know, 55, that's all smooth. 54, they're just
I don't think I can get in it.
pin striping coming through.
yeah, it's just a mediocre job. Well, and that's because a lot, honestly and truthfully, this car was a lot better before the crash.
Really?
Oh yeah. The paint was slicker, the body was straighter, and then stuff like the pinstripes, and you know, I'm sitting there looking at all this. It had, the front fender was smashed, the door was a dent probably this big, and the rocker was smashed, and this quarter panel was smashed, all of it where it hit the side of the trailer. And while I'm working on the car then, and I devised a bunch of body shop, body man type ways. I made a bunch of brackets and stuff that would go on a porta power, and I pulled the fender, and then I welded a bunch of stuff to my rocker panel and used a come along and pulled it using my next door neighbor's truck as an anchor, and just got everything. I took the door off and laid it underneath my Astro van, and what did I do? How did I do that? Oh, I laid it underneath my Astro van and jacked the Astro van up in order to get the dent, you know, to get. But anyway, I'd taken care of all that, and then while I'm working on it, I look and realize that both of my A-pillars are cracked. Oh. I mean, this was a violent. I'd love to have a videotape of that. You know, the car shifting in the trailer, and
So both these A-pillars were cracked?
yeah, right here. I mean, it was a violent, you know.
Yeah.
But
Oh, man.
yeah, no fun. Here, look at this. Isn't that cute? You know, when you put a vintage air system in, and I also moved the vintage air up as high as I could get it.
Uh-huh.
And you know, there was still just a little room, so I made an aluminum glove box, and then this material is something I got from LeBaron Bonney for old car trunks.
Okay.
It's not cheap, but I started looking at it, and I thought, man, I want to put that in my glove box. Boy, it looks good in there.
Very cool.
Of course, I had to do all the wood on the inside.
All right, we've run 22 minutes.
Yeah, how much more do you want?
No, we're
I
done.
can talk forever. No, seriously.
Maybe we'll come back. Maybe I'll come back. All right, very good.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Scott. And it looks fantastic. And we'll maybe come by and see you guys fire them off later.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, if this thing is running properly, you'll be impressed. I've seen it, you know, but I don't know. I'm still not confident that it's good. If it is, we're good.
All right. So that's Scott's. We've got plenty more to show you here from Good Guys Columbus. So we'll be back in a few minutes. In the meantime, go to Riders Journal website, buy some merch, subscriptions, whatever, ridersjournal.com, and also vibrancecollection.com with PPG. Check out some of their new paints, new colors. And we'll be back in a little bit.